Hello, this is Barry Corey, president of Biola University in Southern California. Biola has provided academically robust, biblically faithful, Christ-centered education to tens of thousands of students since we were founded in 1908. Yet today there's legislation being considered in California that would, in an unprecedented way, impact our ability to continue in the distinctly Christian mission that has guided us for 108 years. The bill, SB 1146, would encroach upon the religious liberty for California's faith-based institutions. Until now, schools like Biola have been afforded certain provisions to ensure we can maintain our Christian identity. The U.S. and California constitutions limit the government's ability to micromanage the affairs of churches and religious organizations. That means schools like Biola have been free to believe, teach, worship, and establish standards of living within our community that are consistent with our Christian mission and convictions, even if those convictions do not align with the mainstream of society. SB 1146 would endanger that freedom at places like Biola, and as a result would open up to lawsuits and allegations of discrimination simply because we are living consistently within our Christian convictions. Rather than lashing out against the bill or the state legislators, I'd rather defend the great contributions to our state and to our society that Christian higher education provides. We are concerned that this bill might be one step toward eroding our heart and soul, and in so doing would impoverish the communities where we live, the nation that we love, and the world that we serve. Faith-based colleges and universities are not threats to a prospering society. On the contrary, we help democracy prosper more, and we have since the founding of our nation. In recent months, I have worked alongside many of my colleagues at other faith-based institutions to dialogue with and educate California lawmakers about how SB 1146 would unfairly impact us. I've tried to articulate the important contributions places like Biola make to the common good of society, not in spite of, but because of our deeply held Christian convictions. I've shared this in the office of the bill's author, and I'm grateful for the openness to dialogue. We have worked with legislators and advocacy groups in Sacramento, and I have met personally with lawmakers to seek better language on the bill, and progress has been made. We still feel it falls short, however, in that it puts an undue burden on faith-based colleges and universities in our free exercise of religion. Contrary to a common narrative, schools like Biola do seek to be safe places that demonstrate the love of Christ to all students. We have zero tolerance for bullying, and we have student care and recourse in place for any student who has been harassed or illegally discriminated against. Contrary to the simplistic picture painted by SB 1146, institutions like Biola seek to live in harmony with and love the LGBT community. We want to respect this community's rights and protect them from discrimination and hate, not because of the law, but because of the love and grace of Jesus Christ. We are not asking the LGBT community to change who they are. We are simply asking that they do not force us to change who we are either. Biola University also has an identity, and it's a Christian identity, deeply rooted and ingrained. And we are simply asking for the freedom to live out that identity. We're not asking that our identity be affirmed or agreed with, but simply that our identity be allowed to exist in California. If passed as is, SB 1146 would diminish our freedom to be who we are. It would send a message that the tolerance and inclusion that California stands for does not extend to certain religious groups. SB 1146 would harm students who deserve the option of attending colleges and universities whose mission and educational practices align with their faith. It would harm California, an inclusive state that has long benefited from the diverse array of ideas and institutions that comprise a pluralistic society. It would harm America, a nation that believes in fairness for all and which has long committed to protecting the freedom of religious groups to exercise faith on their terms, apart from government intervention. SB 1146 is a bill that is not necessary. Please join me in raising awareness of this encroachment on religious freedom in our state. And if you live in California, contact your state assembly member today and voice your concerns about SB 1146. Join me in preserving faith-based higher education in California. Join me in opposing SB 1146.